So usually when people find out that I'm a shop teacher, I get one of two responses. They either say, oh my gosh, I didn't even think that was a thing anymore. I thought they got rid of wood shop. Or I get, what is that like? So I decided to shoot this video for two main reasons. One, just to remind everybody, hey, wood shop is still a thing. Find out if your kid's school or your school, depending how old you are watching this video, offers it and take it. Two, maybe you'd be interested in doing something like this. So let me start with one simple fact that kind of gets rid of a misnomer people have about my class. There is no wood shop class. That's not the name of a class. That's not the curriculum focus of any class. I actually teach three different curriculums. I teach construction technology, I teach manufacturing technology, and I teach materials and processes. So I'm gonna kind of show you around my shop for a second to show you what every kid, no matter which one of those classes they are in, has to learn. And then I'll kind of talk about the differentiation in them and what you need to be able to do as a CTE teacher. So in my shop, we have a lathe that is actually in no way directly tied to any of the curriculum. It's just something that I teach kids for fun so they can work on specific personal projects. They have to learn safety on the miter saw, which we have two beautiful miter saws I'm very thankful to have. They use a joiner, gets used very rarely, and we get a lot of this. We get scrap wood piles that accumulate. Every day or two, we clean these up. We make sure that we have clean surfaces, but I have 80 students a day in here. We have two drill press, and one of the things that you have to deal with as the teacher is keeping up on the machines. So this one of the springs broke over here, so I need to replace that. Now they have to learn how to use the belt sander and the disc sander, and you can see these are getting pretty burned up. So I take advantage of those opportunities, and I'll actually have students help me change the belt and change the disc so they can learn how to do that safely. So the scariest thing I ever have to have kids use is the table saw. And if you've ever used one, you know why it can be scary. Now imagine having a class with 20 people in it, because I have 4 classes of 20, and at any given point in time, someone might be using the table saw, someone else is using a miter saw, someone's on the lathe, and then you have people doing work on computers, something completely different. I'm very fortunate. We actually have a CNC router right here. We have 2 more small ones. And then I recently got another lathe because my kids were getting so into using them. Now, if you're a woodworker, you're probably used to the majority of those tools. And we have other things, you know, drills and routers and all that kind of stuff. But those are the bulk of the big tools that we use. But what else is there that I have to teach? Now, out there in the shop, you saw I had the CNC machine. In here, we have a laser engraver. So the students, depending on the class they're in, will learn how to create laser engraver files. Right now, they're building birdhouses, and then they had to come up with something to engrave onto their birdhouse. So they're putting that Angry Birds thing onto the front of their birdhouse. Over there, you see we have some 3D printers. We were very blessed. A group actually donated 5 3D printers to us to add to the 2 we already had. So I'm in very good shape for 3D printing. You can see up here, all sorts of stuff we have to worry about. Here's projects we're working on, directions for running the laser engraver. We need a learning statement. What are they working on? They're learning the engineering design process. So as you can see, I am very blessed to have the shop at school that I have. There's a lot of great stuff here. But what is it that the kids actually learn? So what do I actually have to teach the kids on a daily basis? And it completely depends on the class. So construction tech, basically here's what they learn. Bridge building, dams, framing, electrical, plumbing, city design, urban planning, and then we tie all of this woodworking stuff into it as we go through it. If we come over here, you'll see here's actually a wall that the kids had built last year, and this is where they do their testing for the electrical. So they have to do a plug, they have to be able to do an outlet, a light switch, and then they have to be able to wire lights. So for my other 2 classes, they both get access to the CNC and the laser and the 3D printers. They don't really tie into construction tech curriculum. But you gotta think about this. I'm still the teacher for all of those classes. So there are times when a student may be working on a personal project and they're like, hey, can I laser engrave this, whatever it is? And depending on what exactly they're trying to do, yes. So sometimes I get to kind of go cross curriculum here where I'll take something from one class and work on a student learning it in a different class. So that's always fun because then they get to learn a little bit more. Now, my materials and processes class, again, they learn all of the basic tools. Every student for each one of the classes has to do a few things before they can use any tool. One, they have to get a safety contract signed by themselves and a parent or guardian. Then they have to take a test on a computer on each tool. We do actual training. I'll take time, I'll do a presentation, we'll watch videos, all that stuff. They have to get 100 on that, and then they have to actually go to the tool hands-on and show me they know how to use it. Because again, at any point I can have 20 students in the shop, and I'm trying to keep track of all of them, make sure nobody's doing anything that's going to get them in trouble. So in this class, they learn all of that, and then we work on different materials. How do you select the right material for a job? What do you do with all the different ones? What are the advantages and disadvantages? This is one of my favorite projects in that class. So I actually did a video, if you go back on my channel, about this. A lot of people look at this like, ooh, it's like a marble mallet. No, this is actually plastic. So what we do at one point is we'll take a bunch of number 2 plastic, we'll cut it up, we'll melt it down, and then we'll make a mold, and we shape it, and we make something out of it. So plastic, wood, they might get into some metal. We'll talk about ceramic items, things like that. And they have to learn to work with a bunch of different products. Now they use the CNC, they use the laser, and then not just plastic here, but also plastic for 3D printing. They have to learn about thermosets versus thermoplastics and the history of plastic and how all of that wonderful stuff works. Now I know this whole time I've been talking, you've been focused on one thing: how nice these pants are. So I'm about to talk to you about all the challenges and different things I've run into in a shop setting, but first, let me tell you about these. So this is my 5th year teaching in the shop. In the first 2 years, I used to wear khakis all the time because I thought they looked professional, and most schools have a no jeans policy. And I destroyed my khakis. All right, I went through pair after pair, getting everything in the shop all over them. They didn't hold up very well. Then I found out that I'm allowed to wear jeans to work. And I was like, well, that is awesome because I'm in the shop. But there was a lot of criticism that it doesn't look professional. So while I do get to wear jeans sometimes still, I love these pants. These are the SK Pro. They're actually men's work pants, and they have a stretch fit. They did not pay me anything for this. They sent me a free pair though. They said, try these out. And I wear these at least twice a week now, whenever I get laundry done basically. And I've actually had students comment on them. They are super comfortable. I actually, if I had more pairs, I'd probably wear these instead of jeans. In fact, I'm probably gonna buy a few pair. So I love these because they don't get stained as easily as the khakis. They get washed pretty easily. They are super comfortable. Like I said, they have the stretch fit, and they look more professional than jeans. So if you are looking for a pair of work pants, just something comfortable that's not gonna get destroyed when you're in the shop, like I said, SK Pro men's work pants, flex fit, super comfortable. There's a link below, check it out. All right, let's get back to talking about the shop. So I'm gonna kind of walk you through what it is that I have to do on any given day. So I come in the morning, I get things ready for the first batch of students, and morning announcements, all that fun stuff, and I start teaching on whatever the topic is for the day. And what I try and do is give them a little bit of shop time every day. Doesn't happen right off the bat the first couple weeks because we're just getting used to things, but once they're trained on some tools, I really like them to be able to build as often as possible. Now, while we do have specific projects they work on, such as building the stick frame house and doing the wiring, and they'll get assigned very specific projects as a group or an individual, I also allow them time to work on individual projects. So if they get all their other work done and they want to make something, I make sure I give them lots of time to do that. Now, not every teacher does that. That is my own doing, but what I've found is the kids absolutely love it. It does make my job harder though, because now at any given point in time, I don't just have 10 or 20 different students working in the shop. They can be working on lots of different things, which means at any point, students are gonna be asking me how to do this, how to do that, for an idea for that, running into this problem, this machine's not working properly, so things can get a little bit crazy. Now on top of all of that, again, I have 80 students a semester, and you gotta remember, they're all coming in with different skill sets. They're all at different points in time. So first thing I have to do is pretty much analyze, what do these people know? And then I have to base a lot of the instruction on what they know, what they don't know, differentiating between the different people. How can I make sure this person learns this versus that? I will tell you right now, most people do not know how to read a tape measure. I've had students who do not know the difference between a screw and a nail, and I've had other students who have helped build houses before. So you get a full range of students with different skill sets. Now you may be wondering, if a student's helped build a house before, why in the world are they taking my class? Because we cover so many different things that even they will learn something. On that note, I also learn things from students. I talked about I have the lathe over there. Until I took this job, I had never used a lathe before. Most people don't have a lathe lying around in their garage. I have a student, however, who is very proficient on the lathe. He's a member of a Woodworkers Association, all this stuff. So he's been teaching me stuff. So a big thing that you need to be able to accept is that even if you are a master carpenter and you've built houses, whatever it is, you should always be open to learning things even from your students. So right now I have 3 different curriculum that all have to have lessons for, and there's going to be different assignments for different ones, for different students at different skill sets, and there's lessons for all of that. And then you get to all of the monkey wrenches that get thrown in, such as a tool breaking, the laser engraver not working. We're having issues with the fume extractor not working right now. We've been using MakerBot software for the 3D printer, and they just got rid of the cloud print, so we're trying to get access to a new software which isn't working for us. So things don't always go smoothly. On top of machines not working right, then you have people asking you for additional projects. So I'll come over here, and we had a kissing booth that we needed to make where they were giving out Hershey Kisses for the SCA, and now you can see they're starting to paint it green and black. So this is actually going to be for Laps for Lymphoma, a fundraiser. Over here, we just disassembled the old rifle rack for the ROTC students. Earlier today, a teacher came down. They had a desk that had to be fixed. I have custodians who need to borrow tools to fix certain things around the shop. All day long, there's people who need stuff fixed, people who need to borrow tools, people who just have questions about things. Can we do this? Can we not do this for them? And then there's the big question about what are students supposed to leave here being able to do? I tell students, you will not leave here a master electrician, a master framer, master carpenter. What you're going to do is you're going to learn how to safely use a whole bunch of different tools. You're going to build confidence. You're going to build a bunch of different skill sets that you can later take to fix things, to build your deck when you get a house someday, to just help out around the house. When you have that skill set and that comfort level with tools, there's a lot of stuff you can do. So where the impact really hits me is not necessarily when the student comes in who knows all of this stuff and they build something cool. Yes, that is great. But when I have a student who's never even used a drill before and they make their first project and you see that change where they're like, oh my gosh, I just built this. That's a big deal. Or you get a student who takes what they learn in class and they use it outside of the class. Last semester I had a student, he comes in one day, he goes, hey, I helped my parents build a chicken coop this weekend and I used so much that I learned in your class. And I was like, that is amazing. I had another student going into the military and you have to take an entrance exam. And he was like, hey, you know all that stuff you taught me about electrical wiring? That was on the test. He was so excited about that. So not only are you teaching them these basic skills, you're getting them ready for real life. The stuff they learn in this class, they can take outside of here. And it can save them money when they're working on their house someday. Instead of paying an electrician $150 to come replace a light switch, they're gonna know how to do it. And that does huge things for their confidence. They leave here with real life skills that they can take out, and it can really make a difference for them. Did you take a shop class when you were in school? If you did, I would love to know one of your favorite memories or your favorite projects that you built. Let me know in the comments. Let's get back to the video. So is it worth it? And more importantly, why do we have a shortage? And I'll tell you why, because most people that have the skill set to do this kind of stuff are making a lot more money being contractors, building houses, doing all that stuff. We don't make a ton teaching. But there are rewards that come along with it, such as teaching students these awesome skills and watching them grow. And beyond just this, then I have students who want me to write college recommendation letters or letters to get them into the career center so they can start specializing in things like welding and HVAC and automotive and all of those things that are, again, going to set them up for their future careers. So if you're somebody who you think, maybe I could do something like this, here's my suggestion. Look up in your state what the requirements are. Even if you don't have any kind of teaching experience or a teaching license, a lot of districts are starting to find ways to take contractors and put them in on provisional licenses where you can then take classes and work on getting your teaching license because there is such a need for it. And if you're not interested, just know that, hey, yes, we still do this. I know a lot of places have gotten rid of shop. We still have it in my district. And most districts do still have it. Even though there's not many college degrees where you get trained to be a teacher in this field, a lot of people are going from being contractors to doing this because it's something different. So you get to still use your skills and you're not beating up your body like you do in a lot of these jobs. I'm still in the shop, I still get to use all this stuff. I just get to make a difference in the students' lives and I'm not out in the sun dealing with the elements all day, getting my body beat up. So before you leave, if you got anything out of this, make sure you like and subscribe. And hey, don't forget to check out these pants. They're pretty awesome.